Okay. So the question was just explaining a little bit more about logical operators. Logical operators are tools that we can use to make sure that we are comparing two values, right? So if I have, variable A and variable B, if I want to compare the two values, I can use what we call logical operator for that. There's a couple different ones. So here's this entire table here. Double equals is really what we're saying is we're going to compare the two. Are they equal? Are they the exact same thing? And so that's where this double equals or two operands, double equals. So if they're not the same thing, so one is not the same thing as two, then it gives us false. If it is the same thing, it's going to give us true. So that's what this double equals. Now, what this exclamation point equals is, are they not the same? Kind of sounds kind of a weird thing. It's like, so checking here is going to say, is one different? Are these different? Is one different than two? Are they, is one not the same as two? And it's like, okay, well, that's true. One and two are not the same. So that's where, so it's kind of the inverse of the double equal sign. I'll pause there. Does that make sense? This one's always a little bit confusing for students.
Yeah, actually, that's the one that was actually really confusing me in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying if one does not equal two, then whatever. So the way that you could think about it from a coding perspective is we'll build out where we have session and somebody's going to log in, right? And what we could do is we have their ID in session and we could say, hey, if user.id does not equal, and let's say we're working on a post like a Facebook, think of Facebook, right? And somebody does a Facebook post. And then if we wanted it to edit, if we say, hey, if this person didn't write this post, then when they click edit, we're going to say, hey, sorry, you don't have those credentials, right? You didn't write this, therefore you can't just edit somebody else's post. So that's where that is. That's really where we'll use it. We'll say, if they're not, if this person's ID does not match the ID associated with this post, then we're going to say you cannot edit it, that kind of thing.
Okay.
We've got our greater than and our less than operand, which is just, if one is greater than two, no, it's not, right? It's less than. Two is greater than one, and that operates as true, right? And then vice versa, we have less than. Again, the inverse of one another. We could also do greater than or equal to. And so we did this example in class where we had, if they were 21 or older, we said you could drink. And if they weren't, then you could not drink. So less than or equal to, we didn't want just older than 21 because we wanted to make sure that, all the 21-year-olds could be able to go and have a adult beverage. So that's where you have this greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, same thing. And then with these ones, these are if we wanted multiple conditions to exist, right? If let's say we had, we wanted something specific to happen. If somebody was, let's say here's an example. I'm just going to take the alcohol thing. I never go to bars or anything, but let's just take this as an example. Lots of places will do like a ladies' night, right? And so you could say if they are 21 or older, so, right, if age is greater than or equal to 21 and they are a lady, maybe then you print, okay, you drink for free. But both of those things have to be true, right? If you use and, when you give some sort of condition, both of them have to be true. Even if one of them is true, let's say that I walked in that night, I am older than 21, but I don't identify as a lady. And so because this and is here, that means both conditions must be true in order for it to garner a true. And then really when we're dealing with a conditional statement, then we're going to enter into our if statement and do whatever. Now, on the opposite side, when we have or, only one of these have to be true, right? Only one of these have to be true. So we can have multiple conditions. So basically, if we wanted to do the same thing, in a couple different, situations, garner the same result, then we could use some ors. That way we don't have to keep writing a bunch of different if statements. It kind of helps us truncate our code. And we could say, hey, if this happens or this happens, then go ahead and let them through, right? Go ahead and let it be the deal. And then this one's probably the most challenging. It is a true false inverse of the value. We're gonna see this in play when we're actually coding. So if this is not making a ton of sense right now, and we got to get started here in class in just a second. We're gonna see that in a while. We're gonna see how you would use this, but we could say, you know, we'll have something in session, and then we'll have like a logged in, and then if we could say like if they're not logged in, then kick them out, right? Or go to another place. And so we're just checking and saying, hey, if they're not logged in, then it's going to generate false, or you know, if they're logged in, then we're good to go. So it just is, it reverses the true false value of the operand. And so it kind of makes sense. But if you say if it is not equal to 2, then you would say it reverses that. So that would be equals. So if it's not equal to 2, then it would be, is it equal to 2? If that makes sense. This one's a more of a confusing one. But it just reverses this value here. Or if you have a comparison, this value just reverses that. So here we have less than or equal to 2, right? Which would, for our case, would be false. 1 is less than or equal to 2. But because we have a not here, it reverses and it says, is 1 greater than or equal to 2? And that's false. But this is something we're going to get a lot of practice with. So if it's not making a ton of sense, don't worry, we will get a ton of practice with this.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording there.